All right, so today we've got the pleasure of talking with Jerome. Jerome was one of our students last semester that just found out he passed the CBT PE exam in electrical power. So Jerome, let him know, how does it feel?
Well, I feel so grateful, that I passed the PE Power exam. Yeah, this was a goal of mine, that I'm proud of achieving, especially during these challenging times. I know it's a tough year for everyone, but I'm grateful to end the year on a high point and looking forward to year 2021. So yeah, I'm very happy.
Absolutely, yeah. Looking forward to the new year with professional engineering license and maybe more career opportunities, both internal and external, and all the good things that comes with that, like job security and increased compensation and increased responsibility. So yeah, again, congratulations. And what part of the electrical industry do you currently work in?
I'm an electrical designer. I work in the building design industry. I have a 5 years engineering experience. I work with an engineering consulting company. I designed lighting, power, fire alarm system of different types of buildings, such as residential, high-rise condos, K to 12 schools, offices. And recreational buildings, those stuff.
Gotcha. So a lot of plan review, I'm guessing, a lot of looking at maybe the grids with the HVAC systems and trying to squeeze your lights in between them, or
Correct.
daisy chaining the receptacles on the diagram, maybe riser diagrams and all that good stuff.
Yes, yeah, more on like NEC compliance and building codes. So yep.
Gotcha. I'm willing to bet that a lot of what you do is absolutely focused around the code. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, in my opinion, the PE license, it's obviously beneficial to just about all areas of the industry, but really it's really for you guys. It's so that you guys can, either use your stamp or use your seal and sign off on it. That way those plans can get shipped off and be put to good use for construction. So really, the license, it's really for you guys.
Yep. Pretty much.
Excellent. Great. So how about what were some of the bigger challenges you were faced with when you were studying for the new CBT format? And feel free to talk about, the CBT format in general, or maybe the surprise when the paper and pencil was canceled and maybe having to change up that strategy last minute. But yeah, any of the bigger challenges you faced with the CBT format?
The biggest challenge, I faced while studying for the new CBT, I think was changing my mindset. I keep telling myself, hey, this is already a closed book exam now. Don't think all of your references anymore. All your handwritten notes, those kinds of stuff. So it was really hard to let go with that mindset. Because I trained myself since the preparation for April pencil and paper, having my personal references that I can bring during the exam. So yeah, that was the greatest challenge for me.
Mhm. Gotcha. And just for reference, were you originally signed up for the October or also the April?
And April,
April. Got it.
yes.
So yeah, there was a lot of you not just enrolled in our program, but in general, NCEES had this tremendous backlog of, the 6 month worth of engineers that were going to take it in April, rolled over to October, along with that 6 month group of engineers, and then all of that crammed into December for the first round of the CBT exam. Gotcha. So it sounds like for you, some of these bigger challenges were, I think you said, changing your mindset, going from so focused on having, a ton of references to take with you to maybe bail you out on the tougher problems when you've got, scrambling for that last 15 minutes on the exam, trying to flip back and forth, finding that one answer, to kind of realizing, oh, I'm on my own now. I've got maybe the reference handbook, but outside of that and the digital code books, I'm on my own. So what'd you do to kind of overcome those challenges, or maybe what'd you do to shift that mindset?
I just kept on practicing, over and over using your online quizzes, on each of your modules, your live classes assignments, and your practice exams using only the reference handbook and PDF code books. It's good that our company has a PDF style code book. So I just grabbed those and used those. And I did also memorize formulas that you have in your modules that were not in the reference handbook. So yeah, those are my, takeaway on taking the CBT.
Got it. Yeah. Just about every interview we've done so far, either through video or even emailing, studying from the PDF versions of the code books has come up time and time again. So yeah, we definitely recommend that. It's just so different going from a physical book, kind of flipping back and forth, to having scrolling vertically on the screen. Um, what else? How about how'd you find out about our study program for the PE exam? How'd you find out about us?
I found your program in the, I'm not sure if I could say this on the engineer boards forum.
Yep.
Yeah, every threads, every threads I saw in there always recommends your program, go with Zach, go with the electricalpreview.com. So yeah, I registered for the free access first, to check how the program looks like. And then I checked your YouTube channel as well. So and I told myself, oh, this is pretty good. So that's how I found your program.
Excellent. Yeah. And for those of you that are watching this after the fact, what Jerome is mentioning by engineer boards, it's engineerboards.com. If you've never been, it's a fantastic resource. It's just a message board. Engineers from all different disciplines that are taking the PE exam. It's probably one of the most active online platforms for the Power PE exam. People going, asking questions, sharing thoughts, trying to solve questions together. The guys that run it, they're great. I've talked to them quite a bit. I'm very active on there myself. So if you've never been and you're studying for the PE exam, I can't recommend them enough. It's engineerboards.com. When I was getting ready for the PE exam, that was one of my go-to kind of, I would almost log into it nightly just to make sure, I didn't miss anything. Because when someone posts a question, a lot of times either you can answer it and it helps you by answering it, or you realize, wow, I have that same question. I just didn't know it yet. That was a blind spot. So yeah, great. So it sounds like you found us mostly on engineer boards or watching some of our YouTube videos or signing up for the free trial.
Yes.
Great. And so we'll backtrack. When NCS canceled the October paper and pencil exam, right? That was the last chance to take the paper and pencil exam. It was a bit of a surprise for us as well, because we had that whole backlog of students from the April 2020 exam that we, re-enrolled in our program, plus the new cohort of students for the October 2020 P exam. And we had to rapidly shift what we were doing. We had to rapidly shift our material to focus on the AIT questions, to focus on the handbook formulas, to focus on, okay, we can assume that not everything will be included on the handbook. It's safe to assume maybe this area you're going to need to either memorize or have a working familiarity with without reference material. So we were pretty much working around the clock, me and the whole team, every single weekend. Even, we've just now started to slow it down. But as a student that was enrolled in our program, how do you feel that our program prepared you for the CBT exam during that quick transition period where there wasn't really a whole lot of time?
It really helped me much, especially the live classes, like I said before, the assignments and the quizzes on each modules. It helped me boost my confidence in taking the P exam. Even with that quick transition from pencil and paper to a CBT type format, you guys made it easier for us to accommodate that situation. And I'm really, really thankful for that. So,
Good, excellent. And did that also maybe help focus your mindset towards the CBT exam, like you talked about earlier?
yes, that's correct.
Good, excellent. Yeah, it was it was a roller coaster for everyone involved, myself included, my team, and of course all you guys in our program. So it was a very fast reactionary period, moving as fast as we could. So I'm glad to hear that. Prior to enrolling in our program, had you used any other prep course or prep service for the PE exam or anything else? And if you have, you don't have to mention their name either, but just in general, have you used a similar service as us in the past?
Actually, no, no, never. This was my first time taking an online PE prep course. At first, I was hesitant to register for the premium one, because I knew it would cost me more money. But no, it was all worth it. With all those modules and live classes, I can say that they're all concise and really helped me pass the PE exam.
Excellent. So we're definitely we're setting the bar pretty high for any other online courses that you sign up for in the future, whether it's for continuing education credits or really anything else.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Got it. Here's another good question. How accessible was I as the instructor for you as a student? And I'll preface that by saying a lot of the complaints I hear about other providers is that students either can't get in touch with the instructor, or the instructor, they won't get back to them for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe there's a discussion board that no one ever responds to, and that the instructor is just, outside of the live class, he's just not present. How accessible was I for maybe questions or comments or concerns or anything like that?
Oh, you're really approachable. If I email you, just this today, I'm gonna get an answer to you like a day or two, and I'm not sure if the other programs do that, but it's not really like you do it like personally. You answer my question is on point. The solution. Um, so yep, it's good.
Great. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I tell everyone, my full-time job is living behind this box in this monitor in my inbox, pretty much just having those one-on-one discussions with everybody. And kind of similar to what we were talking about before we started this video, you were definitely one of our more engaged students. I think prior to live class, we were probably emailing, if not every day or every other day, or at least it'd be a couple of days. And then maybe if a week went by, if I didn't hear from you, I'd wonder like, I wonder how Jerome's doing. All of a sudden, bang, like, hey, Zach, can you just I think I got it, but can you just talk about this one detail? And I was like, there he is. And then when live class started and we opened up the discussion board, you were by far one of our most engaged students. And again, I can't thank you enough, jumping in and helping answer questions. And, I always tell students, if you can answer a question, you're going to remember it. If you can take the time to kind of reword it in your mind to get out, that relationship, that abstract relationship, into just a simple sentence that other engineers can understand, it's only going to help you. And it really helps to kind of solidify those relationships, whether it's on our discussion board, whether it's on engineerboards.com, whether it's on Reddit, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever. If you see someone that asks a question, if you think you know the answer, jump at it. That's going to be your opportunity to really condense that information so you can walk away with a really strong grasp on it.
Right. Yeah, that's also one thing, the discussion board. Really helped me a lot too. Answering question from other students, it really retained my knowledge for answering them. So
Great. And how'd you like the discussion board? So how about not just the discussion board, but the live class too? Did you feel like by the end of the semester, you kind of got to know the whole class group, and maybe you start to see some of the personalities come out and some of the humor come out? It almost feels like we almost all know each other, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah. Even though it's in like an online and just a chat or something like that, yeah, I really liked it. Answering question from them, and on the online chat, during the online review, the live classes. Yeah, it's pretty. It's really good.
Yeah, my favorite thing about it is kind of getting to know everybody. And again, like from the beginning of the semester, it's all formal and structured, and everyone is very polite. And then towards the end, it's just everyone's casual, everyone's talking to each other like friends, and it's a lot of fun, kind of getting to know everyone behind just an email address or a username. Let's see. How about how well do you think you would have done on the new CBT exam if you were just self-studying? So if you weren't enrolled in our program, how do you think the outcome would have been different?
I would say like, 50-50. Was not really sure if I will do better if I had not enrolled with your course though. Your program really helped me boost my confidence while taking the exam. I felt relaxed during the exam because, I knew that I had prepared enough since I finished all your courses.
Good. Yeah. Nothing's worse than taking a high stakes test or exam And, when you're real nervous, like any other performance, you're just not going to perform well. You're going to second guess yourself. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to make those simple mistakes. So yeah, it's definitely a great feeling to be just relaxed and at ease in that exam room.
Right.
How about this? While you were studying, and this can be, before the announcement of the cancellation and the shift to the CBT exam. It can be at the beginning of when you started studying, towards the end. But just about throughout your entire journey studying for this exam, what were the subjects that you personally found the hardest?
I would say power electronics, some of the protection, since it's too broad and there's some many to be asked with that topic. So I think those two are pretty hard for me to study.
Got it. Yeah, that's interesting. Um, Definitely agree with you there on power electronics. Most of us as power engineers, our experience with power electronics, it's just a magic box that does what we need it to do when we plug it in. And so really in the industry, we're really just concerned with, okay, is it sized correctly? Is it going to provide the, right output that I need it to? How's the heat rating? If I lose power, how's it going to function? How fast is it going to switch if it's maybe a transfer switch? And it's really different on the P exam when we dial in a little deeper. We really understand, how are these machines working? What are the actual outputs? What part of the AC part is being rectified? How does it smooth that out to get DC? Maybe in the case of a UPS, when we feed it right back to an inverter, or maybe even a VFD, how are we getting this mock or faux AC output that it's still going to function as an AC power source? So yeah, it's really interesting when we dial deeper into it.
Right.
And protection too, I would say about every other engineer I talk to says protection is one of the hardest subjects for them, unless of course they're a protection engineer and then, they live, eat, breathe protection all day long. But for engineers that aren't focused just on protection, a working familiarity with protection, it tends to be more rare. Maybe we're familiar with using something like SKM or Easy Power to kind of set the curves on a TCC graph, or just sizing simple fuses and breakers. But when we start talking about a lot more complex protection schemes, especially for distribution transmission, like differential protection for a delta Y transformer comes to mind, of course. Impedance protection, right? Distance protection with either, reactance blocking or Mohs circle or all that good stuff. It gets quite challenging. How about, let's talk about the opposite of that. So the whole time when you're studying, what were some of the subjects that came the easiest to you, or what were some of the subjects that you just liked to study? Or, if you're doing a practice exam and you saw that question popped up, it felt good. It felt like, okay, this is something I'm familiar with. I can answer this question.
Um, I believe I felt comfortable with three phase single phase circuits, power factor corrections, transformers. I think some of the fault current topics too. Some symmetrical fault current, those type of topics. I think I felt comfortable. But for the three phase circuit, I felt much more comfortable when I took your power boot camp. That was pretty awesome. So it really helped me with the square root of 3 and 30 degrees phase shift.
Definitely. Yeah. Which one did you like better, the power fundamentals boot camp or the circuit analysis boot camp?
I would say both, but it's the power. It's
Power.
really the power. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the answer here a lot. Originally, we made those. I just couldn't keep up with the questions I was getting. So, it was more of, business decision of I have to condense all of these answers that are coming up a lot into a short mini course. But yeah, it's fun kind of seeing where all of those formulas derive from, where the relationships come from. And what I tell anytime someone struggles in power fundamentals or circuit analysis, I always like to remind them, take the time, derive it, really derive it. You only got to derive it once. You're not going to have to derive it on the exam, but when you derive it that one time, it might be a little tough kind of working through it. But when you see where these relationships come out of when you're substituting in, Ohm's law into complex power, and you're dealing with, the conjugate, and my favorite, the I squared Z or the V squared over Z formulas, When you take that time to derive it once, those relationships, they stick with you, and it helps you memorize them a little bit, which that's not really the goal. But what is the goal is it helps you apply them more intuitively. It helps you remember, okay, when am I only going to use magnitudes? What's a shortcut for pulling out, power angle from a circuit if I just know the impedance? All that good stuff. It keeps you out of trouble, and it just kind of it makes things more intuitive when, otherwise you're not really sure how to attack a problem. It makes you better equipped with, okay, I know I can get this, and this value from the answer, from the problem that's given. How do I get this problem that they're asking for? How do I get the value that they're asking for? So it just makes it much more intuitive. Excellent. What about some general advice? So any engineers that are watching this that are getting ready to take the PE exam, especially the new CBT format, right? Since unfortunately no more paper and pencil, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, right? Depending on who you talk to. But how about some just general advice, maybe some test taking strategy? Maybe you can talk about how to focus your mindset, like you touched on earlier. But yeah, any general advice for someone that's watching this?
What I could suggest is to, practice, practice, practice. Spend most of your spare time to read reference books and make effort on practicing sample problems. I would say that is the sacrifice that you need to do to pass the CBT power exam. It is better to be over prepared, that than less that, could result in taking the exam again. Make the big effort once, so you don't waste your time and money in the future.
Definitely. Yeah, we talk a lot about in that how to pass video series we have. We talk a lot about the successful mindset and the unsuccessful mindset versus, it's a lot better to overstudy and to know you're going to pass the exam. Well, not know, but have a much higher probability of passing the exam. It's a lot better to overstudy, and in doing so, you're gambling, spending more time than you had to on the weekends or in the evenings studying. Right? That's the gamble. That's the sacrifice. That's what you're giving up. But the reward is you're going to walk into the exam room, and more often than not, you're going to be the ones walking out with the pass results. Versus the unsuccessful mindset, someone that's going to study the exact amount of hours that they think they need, which is subjective, right? We don't really know how many hours we really need to study until we take the exam. But studying the exact amount of hours that we think we need, and instead of gambling and sacrificing with maybe putting in a few extra hours, now we're gambling and sacrificing probably not passing the P exam, having to go all the way back through it. It's always going to be better to have that short, focused, intense period of studying for the exam, whether you study for 3 months, whether you study for 4 months or greater, depending on each individual's needs. But it's always going to be better to put in that short, focused period of effort, get it behind you, right? Go back to having your free time, go back to having more time to pick up bigger projects at work, go back to maybe sleeping in on the weekends versus going through it all the way back, doing that sacrifice all the way from the beginning. So you've doubled, right? Assuming you pass the second time, you're doubling the total amount of time you're subjecting yourself to this, and you've also introduced some doubt, right? You didn't pass the first time, so now you're doubting yourself at every turn, and I find that's the hardest thing to coach, is coaching someone out of that mindset of, well, I didn't pass the first time, I don't know if I can pass this time, right? Which of course is not true. So yeah, absolutely. Great. What else? How about if there's any engineers watching this that are thinking about signing up for an online program, whether it's us, whether it's someone else, what are some things you would want to share with them after having been a student in our program, after passing the PE exam, after interacting with me, with our other students, with our live class, with our on-demand content, with our practice exams, with everything we have to offer. If someone was trying to evaluate, I can go with company A or I can go with company B. How would you help someone kind of make the decision between which program to enroll in?
Yes. This is my personal opinion, and Zach didn't pay me to say this, so just want to be clear on that. If you really want to pass this difficult exam with just one take, I would strongly suggest and recommend to take the electrical peer review course with Zach Stone. It will not just help you pass the PE exam, but will also help you understand the essence of being an electrical engineer. He is so dedicated to his work. He knows what he's doing. His program is so concise and on point, and will really help you with your studies. Yeah, that's all.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. It's always nice hearing feedback from our prior students. Um, what about how about what were some of your favorite aspects of our program that made you think, okay, this made it worth it, or I'm glad I made the decision, and that difficult decision, but I'm glad I made that decision and enrolled in this program, and these are the things that made you realize, okay, was absolutely the right decision, and this was definitely worth it.
The live classes,
Life
definitely,
class.
definitely the live classes and assignments, and also an additional, you have the third party assignments, from the external references. It's really, easy to find it to the external references, to dig deep, to make more to do some more practice works and assignments. So it's really one of my favorite of your program.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. We actually that was really new for last semester. Um, just about any of the live class notes, any of the ones that went out really late, like at midnight the night before. That was one of the last things we were working on, is just scouring every single one of the books that have really aged well for the P exam. Wildy's book, of course, comes to mind. Power System Analysis by Stevenson Granger. The book by the same title by Duncan Glover and a few others. Yeah, really scouring those and looking for those in chapter exercises was a lot of fun. What else? Anything else you can think of that you want to share? Either about the CBT exam, what you're going to do with your free time now that you passed, where you're looking to take your career now with your license, or anything else you can think of that you'd like to share?
As right now, I'm from Florida, and I'm gonna do apply for my license now. So it's on process. I already sent to them my NCEES record, and I sent my application form. So right now it's my waiting game now for applying for my license, and maybe spend some more time with my parents, with my family, and I might go to Universal Studio in the future, if now it's okay. So that's will be my future goal.
Excellent. What about maybe looking forward to taking on more responsibility at work? Maybe I bet you're looking forward to and it's a lot of fun the first time you get to, whether you order a stamp, and I've got mine off the shelf here, but either a stamp or the seal, getting to use it for the first time and getting to sign that page.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, it's more responsibility, but it will feel great for me. Actually, because our company is really uh, on one project or several projects. It's just one PE. It's particular for one PE. For electrical, and one PE for mechanical. It's like a mass uh, for a company. But yeah, it would feel awesome if I see my name in a construction document, and I'm gonna sign and seal this all the construction documents. So
Excellent. And then once you get your license, and they send it to you like a diploma, don't forget to frame it and hang it up.
oh yeah, 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 I'm gonna do that.
Excellent. Well, hey, Jerome, again, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. Thanks for sharing, your experience, not just with our program, but also taking the CBT exam. That way, others can benefit from that as well. Again, thanks again for being definitely one of the most active students last semester. So big shout out on that. And yeah, please feel free to always keep in touch.
Yeah, I really appreciate your help, Zach. Thank you for everything. Thank you.
Hey, you're the one that put in the hard work, so really, it's all you. So congrats again. Enjoy it. Live in that great feeling while it lasts. And then best of luck to your future career opportunities, and enjoy Universal Studios.
Thank you.
See you, Jerome.